If you've seen my opinions, you know I'm a pretty big tool bag, but one thing that does not make me a complete tool bag is that I do not have Tool. And by that I mean I have not listened to Tool 10,000 days. Yeah. So we got 11 tracks here. Some pretty long songs. We've got two 11-minute long songs on here. Wow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been told that these guys like to talk about... I'm talking like this one here, which means we're going to have a lot of fun listening to this. Hopefully they do not sound like an actual Tool. Like... Let's get to it. Vicarious. I've noticed the bass is really prominent, which I have a lot of respect for. Metal typically drowns out bass. Okay. The time signatures are mad. That part is so good. What? Okay, continue. This sound on this album, and just this band in general, because I've heard Schism, is so distinct, despite, like, the mixing being relatively well used. Like, there's no interesting guitar tones. And it doesn't come down to, like, how it sounds, but more like how it's played out. In the notes, the rhythms, the time sigs, the whole 7 minutes of that was absolutely jam-packed with all sorts of twists and turns that was like face scrunching the whole way through. Ignoring the lyrics, well, look, the vocal work, it's nothing like really screamy or eclectic like you would get from System of a Down or Megadeth. But it's got like this weird like attitude to it. Like he's trying to deliver something to you in a very dead serious way. It really sells it to me. Alright, next track, Jambi. A lot less energetic than Vicarious, but like a rather charming way. It's like a little bit of a break, like a little bit of a calm section after Vicarious. Not that the whole thing was calm. Obviously, you had that really hard hitting part where you could see that I was absolutely jamming out too. Lyrics are very cryptic, but like it's also really easy to understand as well. Like it's pretty simple as like the chorus goes, "I would wish it all away if I thought I'd lose you just one day." It's straight to the point, but there's still a lot of cryptic things about it. You can just add to the flavor of the very blank slate of a meaning to a song. There was an instrumental part where they had some like synthesized vocal thing going on. I wasn't really a fan of that. It kind of sounded a bit weird to me. I mean, I respect it. Music can be music, but it kind of just fell a little bit off for me, so kind of wanted to throw that out there. Next song, Wings for Marie, Part 1. Okay, I just looked up the meaning of this song. I haven't even listened to much of it. I'm actually kind of tearing up a little bit. Shit. We'll continue, but wow. 10,000 days. There was a bass hit at the end which just like rattled not just through my body, but like through my soul. Musically, I wasn't even really focusing on the music, more just like what the song was about. That was probably my favorite song on the album so far, if I'm honest. Like that, there was so much layers to that I got. I just got it. I haven't really experienced anything on that level in my life yet, but one's about to happen. Thank you, Tool. Alright, next song, 10,000 Days, Wings Part 2. I just got chills. 10,000 Days in the Fire is long enough, you're going home. I just got chills, man. As more of a ballad or like a story, I'm appreciating this more. And the music itself is great. It's absolutely stunning, but like as a story, this just carries so much more power and weight to it than like almost anything I've ever heard. And while it comes from a distorted perspective that I don't agree with, but like I myself am a Christian, it tells a lot. It really tells a lot. It really says a lot. There's a lot to learn and a lot to be told. In full honest opinion, as a double song, Wings for Marine 10,000 Days, one of the most perfect double songs I have probably ever heard and probably ever will hear. It's like The God That Failed, but like in a much more optimistic view on the idea. James Hetfield in The God That Failed sang about God failing his mother during the time that in her sickness, I think it was cancer. It's singing like as if God had failed. Wings for Marie puts a very, very similar situation in the light that through all tribulation she remained in her belief until death does she part. As the Bible makes reference to, life on earth means absolutely nothing than the eternity that you'll face either in hell or heaven. And 10,000 days paralyzed is absolutely worth it for that eternity. And that's what makes that double song so truthful, and makes me rethink about how I want to go about that. Anticlimactic, but next song, The Pot. You must have been out your head. Must have been. It's funny that directly after those two songs you get Got Me Juice Up in Your Eye When You Pissed All Over My Black Kettle, Call It Christianity and Hypocrisy, which is very funny. And it goes really high, like the hook, You Must Have Been, I'm really digging that hook there. And you know, this could be easily mistaken for a bloody, a smoking, or a joint, you know, The Pot, the 420 type of song, which it's not. It's called The Pot though, so it's actually referring to the pot calling the kettle black. Fun fact, not this kind of pot. Musically, I really dug that. The cryptic aspect of the lyrics, as easy to dissect as they were quite intriguing, no matter how much I disagree with it personally. People calling it the pot because, oh, weird, funny. It's actually pot calling the kettle black. He straight up says, when you pissed all over my black kettle, you must have been high. High isn't like pot. Kind of obvious. Not to point out the obvious. Musically, it was quite enjoyable. Not so much as Vicarious. I think Vicarious was probably like, musically the most interesting on the album so far. Next song, Lipan Conjuring. That sounded kind of Hawaiian. Fits the album actually. It was rather intriguing little interlude track there. Alright, next track, Lost Keys, Blame Hoffman.
Right here. Not much here, is it? How are you today?
Okay, first transition. That transition was absolutely amazing. Lost Keys, that was actually a rather intriguing experience. Obviously, about LSD, Blame Hoffman. Patient that was mentioned in the song, very likely so on LSD, which when it comes to being in a hospital, having a doctor look at you, he doesn't know what's wrong with you. Kind of an interesting way of putting drug usage. All right, next track, Rosetta Stoned. Those last lyrics are funny, man. No, obviously, Acid Trip. It's got the same kind of vocal delivery as Pit Next Gutter by TDK, which is a very niche thing. You should check it out, by the way. Which, honestly, I never really understood. Like, obviously, I think it sounds freaking amazing. Like, it's really curious. Makes me want to read everything that was very psychotically written down. That absolutely makes zero sense. 100% yap. I think towards the end he says, born to bear and bring to all the details of our ending, to write it down for all the world to see, but I forgot my pen. Shite the bed again. Like, as if LSD is what you use to decode the world, you know what I mean? Like, really describes, probably, because I've never taken out, what LSD is like. Right after a track that says, you probably shouldn't be taking LSD because the doctor's not going to know what's wrong with you. I like that. Musically interesting. A bit long. Next track, Intention. I like the bongos. Oh, transition. Right on the back. This came out in 2006, bros. This is like so ahead of its time. Audibly, that was an absolutely insane experience. They had like some kind of instrument, like some weird digital sounds going on in my head, like kind of industrial, but not really. More like digital Macaulay. I don't know what the hell that was. When it comes to lyrically, you could know right off the bat, reading the lyrics, it's about like human progression, building, finding rock, building a shelter, finding fire, crafting a sword, but then like telling a bit of a story with it about how humans, they have such like a self-destructive nature, making a statement that our ignorance results in us actually like throwing swords at each other, and eventually at the current point in time, missiles and nukes. And I feel like this next track here, because of that transition, is going to expand on that, so I'm looking forward to that. Alright, next track, Right in 2. Those drums at the end were like kind of just going back and forth behind me, in front of me, and my ears. It was really interesting. It was nice musically. Also, it looks like I was right about Right in 2 and Intention being kind of, fingers crossed together, married couple kind of thing. It really reinforces and builds on the idea that Intention created. Fight over the clouds, over the wind, over sky, fight over life, over blood, over air and light, or monkey killing monkey over pieces of the ground. I like how they call us monkeys, because we are primates, I guess. Fact check me on that, chat. We got monkeys. Editing note here, just wanted to add that I really like how Tool used the words monkey, because it really puts humans in a negative and silly light, because that's what the song is about. It's really just making fun of like how stupid we are as a species and how ignorant we are. Like the stereotype of what a monkey is. A monkey's dumb, they like to eat bananas, they like to throw their shit at everyone and drink their own urine. So, as things like this get spoken over and over again through pieces of literature, it feels like it gets old sometimes, but Tool reinvents it with a new sound, a new way of saying it, and a new way of bringing that same debate back to life with a new, renewed power. That was the most dope shit I've ever said. Musically, absolutely. I really like how they infuse the bongos in there to give it a kind of like tribal feel, especially in the track Intention. Makes it a lot more convincing. Alright, last track, Vajanti Tre... I don't know how the hell you pronounce that. Vajanti Tre. I feel like my soul just got like an update or something, like a driver update. What a great way of closing the album. That was like, it was like raw and like weird. It's like weird, man. It's like kind of avant-garde or something. I actually like that was a really, really interesting auditory experience, that one. Anyways, that was 10,000 Days by Tool. When we view it musically, this came out in 2006. This is so far beyond its time from what I've at least heard when it comes to 90s and early 2000s kind of thing. This is like way beyond its time. It is like production-wise absolutely pinnacle. Like even today's standards, creativity-wise, it's got things that even in 2025 I haven't heard before. You know, you've heard auditory experience tracks before, but like that one, I just like I close my eyes for a bit there, and I just had visuals like shoo, shoo, shoo. Be great to have LSD on. On that topic, they had like I think a couple moments where they would combine two songs together to create like a really big like story or enforce an idea with like so much musical and literal strength, if literal's a word. I don't know if that's actually a word or not. And then you got like really powerful hit tracks like The Pot with a really interesting meaning that I don't agree with but could vibe with. Vicarious, which I don't exactly know much about, aside from that it sounds friggin' awesome. You got some interesting interlude tracks in there like Limping Conjuring and Lost Keys. Lost Keys is kind of an interlude track, but it's more like an opening track to what the actual track was going to be, Rosetta Stoned. And it was probably one of the only albums ever to nearly make me cry. Clickbait opportunity. But now when it comes to favorite tracks, I'm going to say the first couple tracks that come to mind musically. If we're going musically and like nothing else really, Vicarious was probably the most interesting one. There are a lot of parts that really just hit actual heavy moment, made me head bang in my car. If we're looking more story-wise and more how creative it was, I would probably say Intention, probably my second favorite track actually. I'm gonna hate to say this, but Vajanti Tre, however you pronounce that, would also be one of my favorite tracks, just because like it just had such an experience to give. Basically no other track on this album, let alone other albums by Tool or any other band are able to do. And finally, my favorite tracks, Wings for Marie Part 1 and 10,000 Days Wings Part 2. Not much needs to be said about that. It was just an absolutely jaw-dropping cinematic experience. So much to be gotten out of that. A theme that I can kind of get behind, but also not, because there's some distortions in there because of my belief. Not much else to say. That was 10,000 Days, Tool. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.